Hey guys, so this is the third day. We finally made it to Mount Rushmore after driving for 2 days, taking some rest stop in between. We finally made it to our home destinations and ended up renting a car. Of course, you guys cannot realize that there are no rental cars close by, or actually, well, they don't publish it on the internet, and the informations on the internet are obsolete. So it was a good thing that we got to home base, I was looking around, and I was calling these RV trails, RV parks, and asking for informations where I could rent a car, because the closest car rental places were about an hour away in Rapid City. And when I called Rapid City, the rental place does not drive out to Custer just to pick you up. So, it would be hard, because then I would have to drive my RV, unhook the RV this morning, and drive all the way to Rapid City, and just to pick up a rental car. But the good news was, after calling several places, in Custer, I actually found someone. He was actually he owns a garage in Custer, and he actually rent cars. Now the rental cars that they have on the internet is out of business, and has been out of business for 5 years. I don't know why Google still have it on the internet. Believe it or not, I tried several times, and I kept on getting a number that has been disconnected, and I didn't understand why until I called the RV resorts, and they finally told me, hey, this is who we've been contacting to rent cars for our clients. So anyway, I called them and finally got a rental car, and this morning we got up early because we didn't want to rush in trying to find a parking space. Little did we know that even though South Dakota is open, the park was pretty much not too full. It was pretty much empty. There were still quite a few people there, but not as many people as I would expected. But here we are. We are basically on the trail, and I didn't take the other half of the trail. I actually just only took down to the one of the hillside on the Presidential Trail. So the Presidential Trail, what it does is, on the monument side, it'll take you to one end, and you have to walk down that one mountain side to that's part of the Presidential Trail, and that's about like a mile. Then once you get down there, then you walk 1 mile on the staircase. Okay. If the theater wasn't closed, we would have gone where the customer service and the parking garage is, and then come around the other way, which is much more easier. But unfortunately, from what my understanding was, that they closed it down. They were renovating it for a rally that President Trump was going to come by in July to do a rally, so which he did. So they closed the theater down, and they blocked the whole entire side off, so people couldn't go onto that trail. And it would have been a lot much more easier, because we were up there already on the mountains, close to Mount Rushmore. But this, because they closed it down, we have to actually walk down the mountainside, and then walk the opposite directions of the Presidential Trail. So after descending down on these trails, the good news is that these trails are actually really cemented. So it was pretty easy to walk down, especially when you're walking down the trail, descending down to the other theater. It had stairs too, so you're basically descending down the stairs. Now, of course, once we get into the middle flat, where we're heading up to the actual stairwells that will lead us to the Mount Rushmore, it does get really difficult. Here, my brother, you can see that he's kind of getting he's out of breath. He's out of shape too, by the way, but he's out of breath because not because of the fact that he was having trouble. It was because also the air is very thin, so he was having difficulty breathing too as well. Anyway, here we are now on these stairwells. You can see that there is a deck in almost every few feet that you walked on there on the stairwells. There's a deck and a sitting place. My assumption is that we're supposed to take our time, and whether you like it or not, we are taking our time because the stairwells, these flight of stairs, are no joke. Even though everything is boarded and on a bridge and with decks and everything, going up these stairs is a lot of work. So here I am. I'm trying to tell my brother not to give up. There was just a few more stairwells to go to. The stairwells does goes for a very, very long time. It goes up a few flight of stairs. Now, what motivates me to continue to climb up these stairs is because, surprisingly, there are people that are actually handicapped. There was an old lady that we were, while we were walking on this, she was actually crippled and she had a little cane, and one hand was holding on to the handrail, the other hand was dragging one of her foot up. And I'm surprised and astonished that she actually makes it. She was actually trying to make it up to the monuments, and I was like, if she could do it, I could do it too. But anyway, very good exercise, though. I'll tell you that it's very good exercise. It's a good thing that I have very, very great stamina too, because for me as a runner, these stairs didn't bother me at all. I was actually still huffing and puffing, but I was actually making it. I didn't think that when we got here, I didn't know that South Dakota would be this beautiful. I mean, when I first would start this mini adventure to South Dakota and North Dakota, I pictured South Dakota as a barren plain, just like Wyoming, Utah, and Nevada. But my goodness, there's so many things to be discovered in South Dakota and North Dakota. And the other thing that really, really surprises me, because my brother was telling me that South Dakota and North Dakota, they have a lot of people that are very racist, especially in these two states. And I didn't believe him. I said, that's probably, people spreading false informations. But when we got here, the people in South Dakota, the South Dakotans, North and South, these people are really, really, really nice, and they were not as the type of people I would imagine. I mean, in comparison to people in the South that that year that I actually took a trip to, the South Dakota and North Dakota, they're very, very they were very nice. Yeah, they actually are more than willing to talk to you and happy to help you out in any way they can. Okay, so that kind of changed my brother's opinion a little bit too. My brother was like, "Oh my God, I was totally wrong about South Dakota and North Dakota," and it is true, because we never been to this state. I wouldn't mind moving to the state too. I was also surprised that in South Dakota and North Dakota, gas was way, way cheaper than what we were paying in California. But here we are. Not yet to the last flight of stairs. Now, for those of you thinking about going to visit Mt Rushmore, you have to understand, you got to prepare yourself for these stairs. It is not so much the hiking that actually will deter you. It's actually the stairs, the flight of stairs, that will deter you from going there. As you can see, those folks that are right behind us, they were also huffing and puffing, and they really thought they were not going to be able to make it. But seeing how we suffer and seeing how they suffered, we all made it together. So Anyway, once we got almost to the top, there's a nice little dip, and we thought that we were there. So we thought, but we were totally fooled. The deck, here's some little sitting area. The deck actually curve, and then when it does curve, more flight of stairs. Surprise. My brother's like, are we almost there? Nope, we're not there yet. So here we are. Here's some more circular stairwell. This one's a little bit more, subtle than the other one. And now this is pretty much almost the second to the last flight of stairs that takes us up to Mount Rushmore. You can see that I'm talking a lot, on these hikes. And one of the things that I learned about, hiking up hills, especially when you're huffing and puffing, is it's good to talk, because you gotta get all those air out of your lungs and out of your systems. If there's any air pockets, you get cramps, and that's something that you don't want. So take it from me, that's how you get rid of cramps. Anyway, as we are approaching, this is the last flight of stairs. Finally, took us about almost an hour to do a round trip. Now, if the theater didn't close, it would have been an easy trail to hike on, because on my left you can see that's the trail that goes to the theater, and then wraps all the way around to the customer service buildings and all the parking garage. So it would be just a circular trail, but unfortunately when they close that off, we have to actually walk the opposite directions. Here we are on the narrow bridge, and we are basically walking right under the Mount Rushmore statues. Beautiful sight to see if you ever get a chance to go there. So my take is that probably if it was not for the epidemic, we would have seen a whole lot of people right here taking pictures. From here, that's under the statue. So I hope you guys enjoy the video. I'll talk to you guys later.